Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Rural Report. I am your Rural 2IC, and today we're going to do a little bit of a talk, kind of a thought video, if you will. Stick with me, this one I think will be a good one. Now, what brought this on is I was watching one of Pinball's videos on actions and consequences. And then it really got me thinking, and I had to rewatch it like a couple of days later and really kind of take it in. And so, if you happen to miss that video, really good video, by the way, it's basically that every action has a consequence. It's the laws of physics. It's every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Thus, the same thing for inaction. Uh, Everything that you do or do not do has something that will happen. It's a consequence. Now, that can be a good consequence or a bad consequence. Same thing for either whether you do something or you don't do something. And that consequence, whether it be good or bad, can affect you and your life, the people in your household, friends, neighbors, coworkers, people that you don't even know. How many times have we seen the little videos on different social medias where somebody picks something up, somebody else dropped, or holds open the door of the elevator? That friendly smile, that little small act of kindness, if you will, that changes somebody's whole trajectory of the day. And so it really got me thinking. I wanted to take that and start broadening out on that, and I ended up landing on freedom. And the way that it got was the age old saying of freedom isn't free. Now, if my memory serves, I believe that's Colonel Hitchcock, I believe. Don't quote me on that. Uh, but for us rednecks, it's freedom ain't free. Um, but I think that is one of the sayings that has lost its meaning, its true value. People use it really without understanding it. It's just a catchphrase. It's turned very political and things like that. Uh, but that's probably for another show. So when it comes to freedom, we all have that freedom. We're born into a free country. We have God given inalienable rights. We have different things such as the Bill of Rights and the Declaration of Independence that goes through and outlines different things. We have all the different amendments that go through and tell us what our rights are. And so in the Constitution, and it doesn't surprise me talking to various people. One of my favorite things to do is just go, hey, can you quickly name me three out of the five rights that we have in the First Amendment? Because one of the saddest things is you don't know if you even have the right or if your rights are being trampled on. If you don't even know you have that right, a lot of people just assume well, I'm free to do that, aren't I? Well, if you don't even know, then, is it or is it not? Uh, Again, probably a different show. And so when it comes down to freedom isn't free, it's the same thing almost as your actions and your consequences. Freedom has a price to pay. Now, let me give some examples so I can at least get you maybe on the same plane that I am. Uh, there is the Second Amendment, okay? And that gives us the freedom to protect ourselves and to protect other things, but we're going with self protection on this. And that freedom is you can either own a firearm or you don't have to. It's your choice, it's your freedom to do so. And with that freedom comes the good and the bad. You have the good of somebody coming to do ill will or harm to you or your family, and you chose to exercise your rights and your freedoms to own a firearm and successfully defended. But you also have bad consequences. People will take that same tool or that same device and they will use it for bad intentions. Or you will have things like an accident. Okay. Accidents happen every day. Okay. You want to get off that topic? Same thing with blades. If you have the freedom to own a blade, they're perfectly legal. So you have people that use a blade for the correct intended purposes. You have the people that use it for self defense and different things like that. And then you have the people, again, that will use it for ill will, for harm, and then straight out accidents. And we can go through anything you want. Um, you have the freedom of mobility and transportation. So you can own a car, you can drive. And so to have that freedom to move about the country, to move about, anywhere around that you want, to go to the store, go see friends, family, loved ones, go to the park, go wherever. You don't have to. You can walk. You don't have to exercise the right to own a vehicle or rent or lease or whatever. But the same things apply. People will use it for its intended purposes and will do good things. And then you have people that will use it for bad purposes, bad intentions, and we have accidents. It goes along with it. Okay. Uh, for all the people that scream that, there needs to be the uh, firearms control, no one screams anything about anything else. Okay. We do this where on the channel we try and take a lot of a neutral stance. Well, it's the same thing here. Take out the name of the item, okay? And if you go, no one should have that because people use it for bad purposes. Okay, well, what's the item? No, 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 no. I'm not telling you what the item is. I'm telling you that people get hurt and people get unalived with this item. So we should ban this item. And you go, yeah, yeah, we should. Okay. What happens if I tell you that that's a pencil, alcohol, something along those lines, a skateboard, baseball bat, a hammer, power tools? You know how many accidents happen every day with power tools where people cut off digits? Nobody's going in and taking any of those off the shelves of Lowe's, Home Depot, and things like that. No one's even batting an eye or even talking about it. And I know, yeah, we're getting a little off track here, but are we? You know, when you start taking the name out of it, then it starts becoming a little bit more clear to see, at least in my viewpoint here. And so now we get back to freedoms. You have freedoms. And so if we bring this back around to how it relates with prepping, you have freedom of choice. And so you get to choose, do you want to prepare? You don't have to. There's nothing forcing you. If you don't do it, so what? Okay. Because there's multiple roads to go down. If you don't prepare and nothing happens, there's no, world ending event. Maybe you have a power outage and, you have to suffer a weekend without electricity. Maybe you get snowed in for a day or two and you have to eat some stale crackers or something along those lines, but it's all survivable. It's easy enough, and so you get to live out your days spending your money on frivolous, materialistic things and enjoying life how you want. But if you choose not to prepare and something bad happens, are you okay paying the price? Same thing. If you are going to prepare, so you start spending your time and your money, you start spending your time learning and educating yourself, you start spending your money on different items and whatnot, and trainings and all the fun things that us preppers do. Are you okay going through your entire life and the zombie apocalypse doesn't happen? Are you going to be uh, laying in your bed at a ripe old age of 110 going, I regret my decision? You know, each one is going to be an action and an inaction. Whatever you choose, you have the freedom to choose. And so you have to be willing to pay the price one way or the other. And so it goes in. Are you going to prepare or not prepare? Are you willing to pay the price whichever one you choose. And then maybe there's a middle ground. Yeah, you're right. Maybe I should prepare for things like uh, power outage, because people they might hit a telephone pole and knock the electricity out for a little while, or a storm may come through and disrupt some things, or I may get snowed in, or a hurricane, tornado, whatever. Something like that happens. Maybe I should prepare. Okay, I mean, it's fair enough. It gets you ahead of a lot of people that don't prepare. There's a lot of people that don't have more than 2, 3 days worth of food. Literally, if you lock them in their house for a week, they probably would maybe not survive. And so you have to figure out where you're going to ride that line. Are you going to go way over here and become one of them preppers that just start buying in bulk? You're buying skids at a time. You're going into massive debt, and you're doing all this and everything like that. That's up to you. Are you just going to say, nope, preppers are crazy, things don't happen, the government will take care of me, you know, anything along those lines? Okay, well, that's up to you. Personally, you've got to find that balance, because nothing in your life should be 100% besides your devotion and your love for your family. You should always try and better yourself. You should always be striving to get to that next level of excellency, to try and outdo what you've done. Now, it's okay to be happy with life, but you should still try to do better. I grew really good food in my garden, last year. Maybe that's fine. I grew right about the amount of food I want, things like that. Okay, that's great. Maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to grow an extra row or plant an extra bush or something like that. Just that little step further. You also, again, this is all in my opinion, you should have it to where you don't go too far, but you also don't go too lean. That's probably the best way if you are a new prepper. If you are not a new prepper, then it's going to be taking everything in steps. You're going to shoot for a certain goal. You're going to want to do 3 days, then 5 days, then a week, then 2 weeks, then a month, then 3 months. And you're just going to keep building on everything and keep learning and making it to where you're getting to those next steps, to wherever your end goal is. There's a lot of people that are very serious preppers, but they don't see to where anything after 6 months. If there's going to be this huge, monstrous event that's going to happen, and it's going to just collapse the entire world for longer than 6 months, then it's probably not survivable in their opinion. And so that's where they shoot for. I can't say that they're wrong. Okay. It's all opinion. Whatever is going to happen or might happen hasn't happened. And so you can't prove or disprove it. Maybe they are correct. Maybe all of us that's going for a year, 2 years, things like that, maybe we're way overdoing it. Maybe we are the ones that are over here and they're looking at us going, wow, you're the crazy ones. Okay. There's people out there that they're only shooting for a weekend, 3 days. That's all you got to prepare for. There's people out there that say you have to have 5 years minimum or you're not even preparing. You've got to decide where your level is. That's your freedom to make that decision. And so you have to look at yourself, and you have to be honest when you ask yourself these questions and take inventory of everything so you can come up with an educated decision on what you're going to do. And as you walk through that and go to each one and answer the question to get to the next question, to arrive at your final answer of everything, are you willing to pay the price to do it or to not do it? Remember, there's consequences for you doing something or not doing something. And so you have to exercise your freedom. You have that freedom of choice. So, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to sit back on the couch and look at, a little bit of water and canned food and say, I'm good? If you are, great. If that's what you think, maybe you are correct. Are you willing to pay the price if you are not? What happens if it's 3 months? What happens if it's 6 months? Are you willing to pay that price, to look back when something's happening, when SHTF, inevitably hits, and you have a week's worth of food and you're 3 weeks into it, scrounging for whatever? Are you going to regret your decision going, I should have prepped a little bit harder? Are you going to do the opposite? You prep for a year and you, again, get all the way through life. Are you going to regret it? Personally for me, everything that I have, I'm looking at now in my pantry, it's all usable stuff. I use most of it on an everyday basis. It all has value of some sort. So if I don't use it, uh, there's plenty of people that will. Hopefully, little rural will come up in the shadows of me, and prep a little bit for himself. And so it'd be one of them things. Hey, if me and Mrs. Rural happen to kick the bucket, and little Rural takes over everything in this pantry, it's not like he's stepping into a thing of hoarders. He's just going to not have a grocery bill for quite a while. He's going to have a couple years worth of duct tape and probably 3 lifetimes worth of paracord and other things like that. Uh, but hey, you know, again, it'll be his freedom to decide what he's going to do and what he's going to do with his inheritance. So, but we're going to end it there. So, I hope that this made you think a little bit. I hope you got something out of it. Let me know down in the comments what you think about all that. And then we're going to we're going to end it there. So again, thank you so much for spending a little bit of your time with me. If you like these sort of things, let me know. If you don't like them, let me know. We can move on to other topics and other things. I always try and make sure that I'm interactive with you guys. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you for spending a little bit of your time. If you're not new here, welcome anyway, because if you've made it to this far in the video, guess what? You rock. It's a little bit longer of a video, but thank you so much for sticking around. So, with that, I hope you guys have a very blessed day. And I want you to stay tuned because there's definitely more information to come. With that, I want you to remember to remain united because we're all prepping in this together.